Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to dig into a region you often hear about, but maybe the full picture gets missed. Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, or POK. We've gone through the material you shared, aiming to really pull out the key historical threads, the political situation now, and why this place is so significant geopolitically.
Exactly. And when we talk about POK, it's mainly administered by Pakistan, but it's not technically part of Pakistan as provinces. You've got two main bits, Azad Jammu and Kashmir AJK, and Gilgit-Baltistan.
Right. And we should remember, India maintains its claim over the entire former state of Jammu and Kashmir.
Absolutely. That's crucial context for everything else. So the division itself, that's where the story really begins.
Okay, let's rewind then. 1947, the British leave, partition happens. The princely states, they had a choice, didn't they?
They did. And Maharaja Hari Singh of Jammu and Kashmir, he initially chose independence.
Wanted to stay independent.
Yeah, but that didn't last. Pakistani tribal forces invaded, which pushed him to ask India for help.
And that led to the Instrument of Accession.
That was the pivotal moment. He signed it, formally acceding to India. And that document, well, that's the basis of India's legal claim to the entire region.
Which immediately triggered the first India-Pakistan War.
Straight into it, 1947 to 48. It ended, or paused really, with a UN-brokered ceasefire in 1949.
Establishing the line of control. The last cycle.
Exactly. And that line left about, well, roughly a third of the original princely state under Pakistani control. That's the area we're talking about today, Paki. The conflict basically froze things in place.
So we have this physical division. But how does the administration work on the Pakistani side? You mentioned AJK and Gilgit-Baltistan are treated differently.
They are, yeah. AJK, it has its own elected president, prime minister, and assembly. It looks quite autonomous on paper. Right. But the real power, the final say on major issues rests with Pakistan's federal government and, significantly, its military establishment. Gilgit-Baltistan, on the other hand, has historically been administered more directly from Islamabad.
And there's been talk, quite serious talk, about making Gilgit-Baltistan a full province of Pakistan.
Yes, that's been proposed multiple times. It's a contentious issue, though.
Contentious how?
Well, India strongly objects, obviously, seeing it as cementing Pakistan's hold on disputed territory. But there's also some unease within Gilgit-Baltistan itself, concerns about losing what autonomy they have, about their distinct identity potentially being diluted.
It really feels like the geography here is just critical. Its location.
Oh, absolutely central. Look where it sits. Borders with India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and crucially, China. It's incredibly strategic.
And that's where the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor comes in, right? CPEC runs right through it.
Through Gilgit-Baltistan, yes. CPEC is a massive infrastructure project, and its route through this disputed territory is a major, major sticking point for India.
Because India views it as building on land it claims sovereignty over.
Precisely. It sees CPEC in Gilgit-Baltistan as fundamentally undermining its territorial claims. So you can see POK isn't just a bilateral issue between India and Pakistan. It draws in wider regional and even global interests, especially with China's involvement.
And this all feeds back into the wider Kashmir conflict, which has seen multiple wars and is heavily militarized.
Definitely. It's one of the most militarized zones in the world. The unresolved status of POK keeps it at the heart of India-Pakistan tensions. And beyond the military aspect, human rights groups have flagged concerns over the years.
About what specifically?
Things like freedom of expression, political representation, sometimes reports of sectarian issues, particularly pointed towards Gilgit-Baltistan.
It's such a contrast, isn't it? Because the reports also speak of incredible natural beauty there.
Absolutely breathtaking. We're talking stunning valleys, powerful rivers, the Himalayas. It's geographically spectacular.
But largely off limits.
Sadly, yes. Because of the political situation, the security concerns, it's very difficult for international tourists, researchers, even journalists and civil society groups to get open access. It remains quite closed off.
So recapping this deep dive, we have a region born from a complex, contested history post-1947. It's politically divided, administered by Pakistan with varying degrees of control, and holds immense strategic weight.
That sums it up well. History, politics, geography, they're all deeply tangled here. And POK remains absolutely central to the India-Pakistan relationship.
Without some kind of peaceful path forward, it seems destined to stay a major flashpoint in South Asia.
It's hard to see that changing easily, unfortunately.
So it really makes you think, doesn't it? When you consider these deep-rooted competing claims, the huge geopolitical interests involved, especially with CPEC, How will the future status of this relatively small piece of land potentially shape stability or instability across the whole of South Asia, and maybe even impact wider international relations? Something to ponder. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.